Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this current video this evening, I am going to be talking to you guys about Unrai Emery, and of course about Arsenal, and these lots of other things to currently talk about. I do believe that Arsenal Football Club do need to sack Unrai Emery as soon as possible. Obviously, I've got the vast majority of Arsenal fans, or all of them, demanding him out of their football club. Obviously, Arsenal did draw 2-2 today with Southampton. Obviously, it was an abysmal performance by Arsenal, and actually, Southampton, could have easily won that game. Obviously, Arsenal, I think, scored late on to rescue a point, but Southampton were the dominant team. They created a lot of chances, and Arsenal are aware, that they should have won that game today, because Southampton are currently sitting in the relegation zone. They are sitting 19th. So Arsenal will be very disappointed with that result and that. But Unrai is in his only in his second season with Arsenal. Don't forget. I think Arsenal during the course of the summer, they did obviously recommend quite a few signings in. They got Kevin Tierney for 25 million. Obviously they got David Luiz for around, was it 7 or 8 million? I think they got William Saliba, didn't they? They also got Nicolas Pepe for £70 million. So Arsenal, did bring quite a few players in during the course of the summer. And they've got good players anyway. They've got Aubameyang, they've got Lacazette. Obviously, they've got Mesut Ozil in their team. Obviously, a lot of Arsenal fans would arguably say that they should have got rid of Ozil maybe a year or two ago. They've got, quite a few good players in their team. And Arsenal, I heard Arsenal fans saying early on this season, if Unai's tenure is to be saved, Arsenal, they need to get into the top four this season. But I think I'm very, very sceptical now about Arsenal getting top four. But there again, I'm also very sceptical about my club, Manchester United, getting in that top four and that. There's quite a few, I think there's a few Arsenal fans demanding, Mauricio Pochettino to replace Unai Emery. Obviously, Mauricio Pochettino's got a few options. Obviously, he's been linked with a move to Man United. Obviously, he's been recently, linked with Bayern Munich as Pochettino, and obviously, there has been talks about him going to Arsenal, but I'm very sceptical, about him going to Arsenal. I don't see that happening in that. But obviously, a lot of Arsenal fans are aware that, they saw better under the Arsene Wenger era, than what they're seeing now under the Unai Emery era, because obviously Arsene Wenger, served, was it 22 years with Arsenal, and analysing it, you can say Arsene Wenger, had 12 good years out of the 22 years he was there. Obviously, in the last 5 or 6 years of his, tenures, Arsene Wenger's, obviously, it went all wrong, and this is why obviously a lot of Arsenal fans did, demand him out. Arsene Wenger, of course, left Arsenal in May 2018, which of course was last year. But for me, Unai, he doesn't have a clue. He's tactically naive. I don't think the personnel is right at Arsenal. And, it just isn't good enough, and I just don't think his philosophy is good enough for Arsenal Football Club. So, they also need a variety of changes, do Arsenal definitely. They're definitely do. I think they're sort of on the same level as Man United at the moment, are Arsenal, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But yeah, so like I said, regarding Mauricio Pochettino and that, as I did confirm to you guys, earlier on this week, and I've confirmed to you guys on my recent videos that Mauricio Pochettino is manager now at the moment. He was sacked by Tottenham on Tuesday evening. Tottenham obviously made a public statement, coming up with a variety of reasons, why they did, sack Mauricio Pochettino. Obviously, he was in charge of Tottenham for 5 years, and he enjoyed really, really good tenure with Tottenham and that. Like I said, he progressed them to the League Cup final in his first full season. He also got them to a couple of third place finishes, got them to their first ever Champions League final last season, did Pochettino. Obviously, Tottenham come close on a couple of occasions to winning the league. But, I think the reason Mauricio Pochettino got sacked is because obviously analysing Tottenham this season, they've enjoyed a really difficult start to the season. and they should, they're not in the position, that they currently should be in, should Tottenham. But yeah, Mauricio Pochettino did currently get sacked. But yeah, enjoyed 5 years with Tottenham, like I said, and then, he's well Premier League proven is Mauricio Pochettino. I think he's a really, really good manager. He's good at developing young players. His philosophy seems to be right for Tottenham mainly. And, he's well experienced, haven't he? Like I said, I think the only element of concern I have got about Mauricio Pochettino is that he hasn't won out in terms of silverware yet. So you can say that's an element of concern. Obviously, before I was at Tottenham, I said, he had a great short tenure with Southampton. Obviously, before I was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol. And he began his managerial career in 2009, so he's been managing for just more of a decade. But I think, he definitely will get another job, reflecting on, what he did with Tottenham. But I think, obviously comparing Pochettino and Unrai, they are totally a comparison, because obviously Unrai is obviously, won silverware and that. Obviously hasn't, won out with Arsenal. He did obviously progress Arsenal to the Europa League final last season. And I think you could say this season it's probably between Arsenal and Man United for the Europa League. But yeah, I think he won quite a few trophies, during his time with PSG, Unrai. Also, I think he won a couple of trophies with Sevilla. So, obviously, he's a comparison to Mauricio Pochettino. But a lot of Arsenal fans are demanding him in there. I think also Pochettino is totally a comparison to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You can definitely say that. Because, like I said, Solskjaer did win a couple of Norwegian titles with Mould before he was recommended to Manchester United and that. But obviously, Pochettino is more experienced. And I am very, very adamant that, if we did recommend Pochettino in and we did sack Solskjaer, I do definitely believe that he would do a better job than Solskjaer, without a shadow of a doubt. But take into account, we went in for Pochettino, after the sacking of Jose Mourinho in December of last year. We went in for Pochettino, who was actually our primary candidate. But obviously, we didn't get him, at that current time. It's because obviously Pochettino was reluctant to leave Tottenham. As you all know, Daniel Levy is a hard negotiator. And at the time we went in for him, he did say we'd have to pay around £32 million in compensation to recommend him in. Because don't forget, Pochettino initially did sign a 5-year contract with Tottenham in the summer of 2018. With around £8.5 million a year. But I'll give you the couple of reasons why Solskjaer was our preference over, Mauricio Pochettino. Because obviously, Solskjaer knows the traditions of the club. Also, he was a cheaper solution. So we didn't really have to pay that much out, to get him in from Molde, basically. And all that. So this is why, my preference, was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, like I say, reflecting on the sacking of Pochettino, does it, put more pressure on Solskjaer and that? Solskjaer did say he doesn't feel any pressure. Any extra pressure, despite the sacking Mauricio Pochettino and that, and he still basically believes he's the right man to elevate Manchester United forward. Also, don't forget Solskjaer did react to the to Jose Mourinho getting appointed as Tottenham's new manager on Wednesday, and he obviously said it's very good news for the Premier League. As you all know, Tottenham did win by 3 goals to 2 today against West Ham away at the London Stadium. I thought that could have gone either way basically, but Tottenham did really, really well. Obviously Jose Mourinho winning his first game in charge of them, so he will be very, very relieved about that. But to be quite honest with you, I think Jose Mourinho will succeed at Tottenham. I know it's too early to say, he's only managed 1 game, but overall, he's a really, really good manager, and I do believe Jose Mourinho, will will get Tottenham, to where they want to be. I think his philosophy is right for Tottenham. Don't forget, none that Tottenham squad is easy, so you can probably say he's inheriting he's inheriting a lot of young players, because he's a lot of young players in Tottenham's squad. He's inheriting, some average players. I do presume that, Jose Mourinho will be orchestrating on spending, a substantial amount next year on recruiting new players to Tottenham Hotspur. Because Tottenham I think probably still need a couple more signings, if they are to be back, to be, if they are to be, future title contenders, and that if they are to be up there, challenging for major honours. But yeah, I think he will do really, really well. Jose Mourinho is getting a substantial amount now a year at Tottenham. I think he's getting around 15 million a year. That's almost double than what Mauricio Pochettino earned. Plus, he's signed quite a long contract with them. He's on the contract with them until the end of the 2022-2023 season. But I think Mourinho will do really, really well. But Mourinho, like I said, he's got a fantastic pedigree, and reflecting on that, he's regarded as one of the best managers in the world. He's managed various clubs. Obviously, he's managed the likes of Real Madrid. He's managed the likes of Inter Milan, where he actually won the Champions League. He's managed, Porto, where he also won the Champions League. Obviously, managed Chelsea. Had 2 spells with Chelsea, by the way. Won 3 Premier Leagues with Chelsea. Won, the FA Cup with Chelsea. Obviously, managed us for 2.5 years. Obviously won the Europa League and League Cup in his first season at Man United. But like I did say to you recently, I give you the variety of reasons why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho at Man United, is because obviously he had bad disputes with the board. He had bad disputes with the top players, especially Paul Pogba. And I actually believe Paul Pogba was relieved there when Jose Mourinho got sacked. Definitely, the board weren't backing the signings that he wanted to recommend to the football club last summer. But Jose Mourinho did spend a substantial amount at Man United. He spent £400 million, or was it just under £400 million on 11 players and that. But obviously, it just didn't work out under him. But I think he's going to be totally comparison at Tottenham, to how he was at Manchester United. But like I said, in total, he's won 25 major honours in his managerial career. And he's also said he's very humble. I think he did say that in his first press conference, when he obviously got named as Tottenham manager officially. But I do believe that he will do really, really well. But some people believe that, now that Jose Mourinho has returned, that obviously, could sack Unrai Emery from Arsenal. So, yeah, so that's my overarching view on all of that, basically. That's my overarching view on that. Obviously, we've got a big game coming up tomorrow against Sheffield United. That's going to be a very, very tough game, because like I did put into the equation, Sheffield United have been a revelation this season. Like I said, Chris Wilder has done a really, really good job with them. Like I said, he's emulated himself up here over the years. He's managed various clubs, but now he's into his 4th season with Sheffield United. He joined them in 2016, took the mantle at Sheffield United. And he's progressed them from League One, to the Premier League and that. I think Sheffield United have obviously now fallen lower in the table, and so too have Man United. Obviously, reflecting on today's games. I think Sheffield United have dropped around 8th or something like that. We've dropped to 10th. But it is actually the only game tomorrow is Sheffield United and Man United. But, like I said, I admire Chris Wilder because he has done a really, really good job. Some people believe he would be the right candidate, to take over at Man United. But I'm very, very sceptical about him coming in. I don't see that happening. But they've been a revelation this season. Like I put into the equation, it's the first time we are travelling to Bramall Lane in 13 years. So it should be a really, really good game, like I said. Obviously, I interpreted, some of the stuff that Solskjaer had mentioned, during his press conference yesterday, because I obviously, give you my reaction and that. Through the press conference, like I said, he praised Jose Mourinho. He said it's good news that he's back now. Also said it was a shame that Mauricio Pochettino got sacked. And obviously, he obviously provided us some team news, and the good news is that more players are now recovering from injury. Solskjaer did confirm that Matic, Tuanzebe, and Luke Shaw are all back in training. So basically, overall, we've got 6 players back because also Eric Bay, Diego Dalot, and Fossil Mensah are back in training. But he confirmed that they trained away from the rest of the squad and that. So obviously some of them are not match fit, but the good news is that they are back in training. Matic has been out with a minor problem. Luke Shaw's been out with a hamstring problem since the 2-1 defeat to Crystal Palace earlier on in the season. You've got Tuanzebe that's been out with a hip injury. He hasn't played since the 1-0 defeat to Newcastle as Alex Tuanzebe. But he initially was named in the squad against Liverpool, but obviously didn't play because he sustained his hip injury, during the warm-up. Regarding Eric Bay, he's been out of a knee injury. He actually sustained this injury throughout pre-season. He's been out since then as Eric Bay. Eric Bay is very injury-prone. He has sustained a lot of injuries as a Man United player. And Diego Dalot, I think, been out with some kind of leg injury. He's initially sustained quite a few injuries this season. And you've got, obviously, Fossil Mensah that's been out with an injury. Don't forget, Fossil Mensah did return to the club earlier earlier in the summer. Well, in the summer he returned because obviously last season he'd been on loan with Fulham, where I think where he actually sustained the knee injury, but he has been out of injury for quite some time. We know that definitely tomorrow that Scott McTominay and Paul Pogba will definitely not be playing. Solskjaer did reveal that McTominay is expected to be out for at least another couple of weeks. I think he's actually going to be out until Christmas is McTominay. And like I said, he's going to be big missing that team. So now I do presume with Matic back, he's obviously going to full McTominay's position and that. Like I said, McTominay withdrew from the Scotland squad during the international break with his ankle injury. Obviously, he had initial scans on his ankle to find out the extent of the injury, and it is severe, so he's going to miss the games against City and Tottenham next month, which is a shame. Is Scott McTominay. But he initially sustained the injury in the 3-0 win against Partizan Belgrade, did McTominay. He did play in the game against Brighton just before the international break, but his injury reoccurred in that game. So obviously now he's out for at least a couple of weeks. But I did say, analysing McTominay this season, he has been a revelation. He's been a revelation, I still don't know if it's a long-term solution for Man United, I have got element of concerns about that, but he's deserved to be a consistent start this season, reflecting on his good performances, and he's still only very, very young. He's been in the senior squad now a few years as McTominay, he's I think he got into the senior squad back in May 2017, but he's done really, really well. And obviously, recently anyway, before McTominay initially sustained the injury, he was playing alongside Fred in our midfield. And to be fair, they've been complementing each other fantastically well recently. I think they are comparison of both players, two different players, but I've actually got the same perception on Fred of what I've got of McTominay. I don't know if Fred, is the long-term solution for Man United. These question marks around Fred. Amongst Fred, can he keep the consistency up? But to be honest with you, I'm very, very hopeful, that he can. I know he hasn't, performed to the standards as we should expect from him. I will agree on one aspect that we definitely overpaid for him, because we paid around £50 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk. And analysing him at Shakhtar Donetsk, though he was an exceptional player, but he hasn't really replicated in Man United what he did do with Shakhtar Donetsk. But obviously he's full in Paul Pogba's position, because Solskjaer confirmed he will be taking Paul Pogba's position for a while. But Scott McTominay is not a Galactico, player. Fred's not a Galactico player, but the difference is, can they emulate into two Galacticos? That is the question, and hopefully, that they can. What? No. What? No. Um, yeah, but like I said, regarding Paul Pogba, he's out until December, as you all know. He ain't expected to return until December. Give us some news regarding him. You know, he's been out with an ankle injury, hasn't played since the 1-1 draw with Arsenal earlier on in the season and that. And but yeah, he has been big miss in that midfield. It confirmed the other week that he travelled to Amsterdam to have his ankle cast removed. But yeah, he's still out with injury. He's Paul Pogba and that. But I think he's closer to recovering from injury and that. But actually, like I updated you yesterday, it did say Paul Pogba is expected to be out for another 3 weeks and that. So he's also going to miss the games against Manchester City and Arsenal. Is Pogba. As he updated you recently, he did still say he's desperate to quit the football club. So he's got the same perception now as what he had for the entirety of the summer, basically. But I think now his actual there's an actual perception now that's comparison to the summer, because now reportedly Paul Pogba's preference is to make a return to Turin, but his actual preference during the summer was to make a move to Real Madrid and that. But Real Madrid were relentlessly linked with Paul Pogba during the course of the summer, and I did say the stumbling block of Paul Pogba's move to Real Madrid was reflecting on the substantial amount we put on him, because we wanted around 180 million. We was very adamant he wasn't for sale, but we still wanted 180 million pounds if we was willing to soften our stance on him. But obviously Real Madrid were not willing to pay it. Real Madrid spent £300 million during the summer. I think they got around five. I think they got 5 new additions in. They also did sell some players, so they did generate some of the money back. But yeah, Paul Pogba has been mainly inconsistent since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. He's now into his 4th season at Man United, but the vast majority of his performances have been in comparison, to how there was, when he was at Juventus, basically. But I still knew anyway he wanted out the football club, even though before I read it up. He's still in his prime. He's probably, he's only the age of 26. We have seen glimpses of how good he can be at Man United, because he did really, really well in that 3-month period when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. Solskjaer, don't forget though, he knows Paul Pogba very, very well. Watching, develop and that, because when he was younger, he managed the Manchester United reserve team, did Solskjaer, for a couple of years that was, and he actually watched some of this team this day and age go and develop, and all that. So even before he got appointed as Man United manager, he knew some of this team now at this day and age. Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his current contract with Man United, with an option to extend it by a further year, and he's on around £290,000, £290,000 a week at the football club. So in that aspect, he's one of the highest paid players at the football club. But regardless of whether Paul Pogba stays or goes anywhere, we still got to address that midfield either way. So he definitely will not be playing tomorrow. But reflect on the amount of injuries we've had this season anywhere. Obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has had to make a lot of alterations in the squad. I presume that Ashley Young, that is, will be playing tomorrow, because he's actually been playing on a regular basis this season, and these question marks regarding Solskjaer on that, because I know that Young was our first choice right back last season. Obviously this was before the arrival of Van Wan-Bissaka. But he's still been playing on a regular basis this season, whether it's something to do with the amount of injuries we've had, and Solskjaer's had no alternative but to play Ashley Young, I do not know. But we have got a variety of fullbacks in the team anywhere. But Young didn't play against Brighton before the international break, obviously now due to suspension and all that. But I think if we can, perform, if we can replicate, the performance like we showed against Brighton, and Partizan Belgrade, I think we can easily, beat Sheffield United. But to be fair, we have recently, rejuvenated ourselves, because we've obviously, won 5 of our last 6 games in all competitions. We seem to be, building more momentum recently. Seems to be more confidence in the team. We're showing some heart, we're showing some desire, we're showing some passion. We're showing quite a lot of tenacity. Recently, we've been scoring more goals. We've also recently seemed to be creating more chances. And that's obviously been an element of concern this season in the vast majority of our games, because there is a lot of games this season where we have been struggling to create chances. And this explains the reason, why we haven't been scoring enough goals. I also believe certain players have stepped up to the plate, definitely. Like I said, I think, Marcus Rashford has recently, rejuvenated himself. Don't forget, Rashford has scored 8 goals in his last 8 starts for club and country. In total, he has scored 54 goals for Man United as Marcus Rashford. This is since he broke into the scene. He scored back in 2016, so he scored 54 goals in just under 200 appearances in all competitions. He has been a revelation recently, Rashford, because before he rejuvenated himself recently, he had a really long bad spell. But I still said at that point, he's still long-term solution for Man United. But fair play to him. But when he's on form, he can get them runs in behind. He can lead the lines, and that, to be fair to him. Like I said, since Martial came back, you can say he's added more inspiration in that attacking third in the pitch. I've been very, very impressed with Anthony Martial, and he's only, the age of 23. He scored 53 goals for the football club as Martial since his arrival from Monaco back in 2015. He's now into his 5th season as a Manchester United player. I think some aspects of Anthony Martial, do replicate Marcus Rashford. They can play in the same positions. They've got the similar sort of pace because they're both very, very quick on the ball. They more or less score the same amount of goals apart from one, because like I said, Rashford's on 54, Martial's on 53. But like I said, Martial is very effective in that number 9 role, because don't forget, he had been given that number 9 role at the start of the season, even though he does predominantly play out wide, Martial. But he's much, much better essentially than Marcus Rashford. It's good also that Martial's back, because he does help the likes of Daniel James and Marcus Rashford. But to be quite honest with you guys, I have seen a variety of changes, recently. And I think, reflecting on our good run of form recently, you can say some pressure has eased off Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously reflecting back before the Liverpool game, Solskjaer, was under intense pressure at the football club. So you could arguably say, the game against Liverpool, the game against Norwich, arguably saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the football club. But he has tried a few different elements, to try and turn things around at Man United, and they have seemed to be working, recently. So as I said, we are 10th in the league at the moment. We are obviously now 10 points behind top 4. City did beat Chelsea, by the way, in the late kickoff by 2 goals to 1. So we are 10 points behind top 4 and that. So it's a must-win game against Sheffield United tomorrow. I'm very, very sceptical about, us getting the top 4 this season. I did say, didn't I, at the start of this season, that our expectations this season anywhere will be to finish in that top 4 and perhaps, maybe win some silverware. But we need to get back into the Champions League. We need Champions League football for next season, that definitely. But I did say on my recent videos that I think our only route to Champions League football is progressing in the Europa League. And to be quite honest with you, I think we have got a chance of winning the Europa League. We did win it a couple of years ago under the Jose Mourinho era. We beat Ajax by 2 goals to 0 in the final. But we are in the knockout stages of the Europa League. With still 2 games to go. But analysing it, I think our aspirations will be that top 4 in the next couple of seasons, definitely. our aspirations will be that top four in the next couple of seasons. Because I don't think we're good enough to win the league at the moment. I don't think we're going to win the league for at least the next couple of years. Because analysing at the moment, City, Liverpool, even put Leicester into the equation. They are strides ahead of us at the moment. Like I said. So, but like I did say at the start of this season, I did mention, didn't I, that I expected us to enjoy a better season this season than what we saw last season. But one thing I did assure this season that we wouldn't win the league, despite the 3 signings that were recommended in to the football club during the course in the summer and that. But like I've said to you on numerous occasions, we reflect on the size, the potential, and the money that's been invested into this football club over the years in all the managerial eras. We should be much more of a commanding position, than winning now, because we are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. We are the most successful team in England, historically. Obviously reflect on the amount of titles and that we've won, because we've won 20 titles, 13 Premier Leagues, 7 all the first divisions. But we've been a toxic club, for the last 6 or 7 years. And obviously we do know that the vast majority of our, silverwares obviously came under Alex Ferguson. Obviously Ferguson endured around 26, 27 years at Man United. I think we won around 38 trophies under Alex Ferguson's guidance. So we'll also, take that into account and that. The question is, do you think we're going to be ever be the team, that we was under Alex Ferguson? I'm sceptical that Solskjaer can invoke Ferguson's legacy to save Man United. I think regardless of where manager is anywhere, they wouldn't invoke Ferguson's legacy at Manchester United, and that definitely. Like I put into the equation, Ferguson did develop a lot of young players. He controlled the transfer policies. He controlled the contracts. He had that winning mentality. That fear factor was also there, and none of them have been there since the Ferguson era. But take into account, Ferguson didn't, accomplish all this straight away. Don't forget, it took him 4 years to win out with Man United. He didn't win out in his first 4 years when we recommended him in from Aberdeen back, was it 1984 or 1985 and that. But since then, we have, been playing catch up, since the Alex Ferguson era. But I just don't think we'll ever be the team that was. And I did say I'm hopeful that this team at this day and age, can replicate, what the team did under Alex Ferguson and that. But, I think, Solskjaer did obviously reveal that he thinks he's following Ferguson's philosophy. And I said, Solskjaer obviously, wants to continue, recruiting young players and that. So he does replicate Ferguson in that aspect. Because, there's some aspects of me that do credit Solskjaer and that. He did recommend 3 good players to the squad during the summer. We spent nearly £150 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Don Harry Maguire. And, they've all enjoyed fantastic starts to their Manchester United careers and that. So he did recommend 3 good players in. Also, too, I credit Solskjaer because he has got a lot of trustworthy in his young upcoming players. So we'll also take that into account. And Solskjaer did actually assure that, all the young upcoming players would get given their opportunities, which they have done. So, you can rely on Solskjaer on that. He also did initially assure, when he first came in to Man United, when he first got recommended in that, everybody, would be given the chance, which they have done as well, which is good, But, I have got some element of concerns about, some of the young upcoming players. And this is why I did say next year it will be beneficial, to, get rid of some of them. I've got element of concerns, obviously, about Chong and Angel Gomez, so I think we need to get rid of them next year. Like I said, I was reading recent reports about Chong. I haven't read much reports about him recently, but it was the other week, I think, he updated you regarding the news on Chon. And he did reportedly say it's very, very imminent that we'll lose him on a free transfer at the end of the season, because reportedly it said Chon has decided not to renew his contract at Man United, and it did say that he informed the club that he will be leaving at the end of the season. Now, Chong, obviously, his appearances have been limited. He hasn't played the games as many games to the extent as I thought he would have done. But I think he's played on 4 occasions for Man United. But I think with this, basically, no need to get rid of him, because I think him and Angel Gomez are totally comparison to the likes of Greenwood, of Brandon Williams, Tuanzebe, and that. Because I think that trio will all become a succession at the football club. With Mason Greenwood, like I said, he's still a prospect and he needs time to develop. Obviously has not yet started again from the start in the Premier League. Well, I don't think he has anywhere. I'd still say Mason Greenwood is comparison to Rashford at the moment and Martial. I think as time goes on, I think Greenwood will end up overtaking Rashford, and I think he will become a better goal scorer than Marcus Rashford. If I'm going to be quite honest with you, Mason Greenwood has scored 3 senior goals for the football club this season. Mason Greenwood only made his full debut last season it was the last game last season, the 2-0 home defeat to Cardiff and that. But he's been a revelation as Mason Greenwood, and I thought it was a revelation for the reserves last season. He scored, 30 goals in 29 games, but this season he's replicating what he did for the reserves last season. And he got given a new contract not too long ago as well, so that was some good business from the football club. You got Brandon Williams. He's been fantastic as well. You've got to say now that left back has been confirmed. Like I said, we've got a few fullback. We've got a lot of fullbacks. We've got a lot that can play at left back, and that you've got Rojo that can operate as a left back. You've got Luke Shaw, that's obviously a left back. You've got Young that can play as a left back, but he's predominantly a right back. You've got even Diego Dalot. That can also even operate as a left back. But I think Brandon Williams is definitely a much better solution than Luke Shaw. Despite that, Luke Shaw's our first choice left back, and he's also a better solution than Ashley Young. So I also will put that into the equation. And I think the games Tuanzebe has played in this season, he's also been very very impressive in that. My overarching view on Andres Pereira, I think we need to give him more time at the football club. He has had some bad games this season. He's had some good games. He's obviously been operating in that playmaker's role this season as Andres Pereira. But would still give him more time at the football club. So yeah, there's a lot of young upcoming players in our squad. There's also a lot of experienced players in our squad, as you all know. But even though we have rejuvenated ourselves recently, my perceptions, still haven't really changed regarding Solskjaer. I still don't think he's the long-term future for Manchester United. Like I said, my element of concern I have got about Solskjaer is that, he hasn't won out in terms... He hasn't really won much. He's, like I said, he won a couple of Norwegian titles there with Mold, but, Mold are obviously now big. But he hasn't really got that managerial experience, not to the highest level, and hasn't got any intuition on how to manage a big football club, especially like Man United, even though he does know the culture and that of the football club. But, I think, as a manager, now he's obviously, totally comparison as he was as a player, because obviously he's got that proven pedigree as a player as Solskjaer. He was a great long-serving player for Man United for 11 years. Obviously, as a player, Solskjaer made 366 appearances and scored 126 goals. Obviously, one of his most iconic moments as a player, obviously, was back in 1999, of course, when he did win the club the treble. Solskjaer with the late goal he scored. That's obviously one of the club's greatest achievements in that. So he has got that proven pedigree as a player in that. But I just don't think he's good enough to succeed as a manager in that. Like I've said to you, I'm still Ollie out. I think us getting rid of him, wouldn't solve any problems, basically, because it's not always the answer, you can't just persistently keep getting rid of managers. Obviously, we've already sat 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, David Moyes left after 10 months. He had really a short tenure with the football club. Obviously, Louis van Gaal, he lasted just over a year. He got sacked despite the fact he won the FA Cup with us, and Jose Mourinho got sacked after 2.5 years. But Solskjaer is obviously our 4th permanent manager anywhere since the Alex Ferguson era. But I did say, didn't I? And I've said it on my recent videos. If we can keep this good run of form up until at least January or until the end of the season, then maybe my perceptions, will change regarding Solskjaer. Then I may feel as though that he's the right manager, to elevate Manchester United forward. Obviously, you've got Ed Woodward that, replicates Solskjaer in that aspect, because also you've got Ed Woodward that, believes is the right man, and Ed Woodward has actually, assured his job is safe, even though for the vast majority of this season we've been very, very poor. Obviously, we've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for over 30 years, and that, as you all know. But Man United are still, willing to back him. Like I've said on recent videos, I still think we need to see a variety of changes at the football club. I think we definitely need to get rid of our current board, because our board have been a liability for several years, reflects on their poor recruitment. Not only the poor recruitment, the poor selection of managers. Ed Woodward also needs to go, even though he recently did promise world-class signings Man United. There is still obviously more players that do need to leave Man United without a shadow of a doubt. I know a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, but I still believe these more players that do need to be moved on. I think we need to get rid of another 5 more players. I don't think Ashley Young's good enough. Looking at Young, he's now past his sell by date at the football club as Ashley Young. He's now 34. He's 35 years of age next year. And Young's been a long-serving player at Man United. He's now into his 9th season with the football club. He's enjoyed 8 years here. And it was a bad mistake last season for Man United, giving him that new 1 year extension. Phil Jones, he's definitely another one of the problematic players. We also do need to get rid of him. I'm very, very sceptical now about Phil Jones. We give him a new long-term contract last season, which we shouldn't have done. But Jones has been here more or less the same amount of time as Ashley Young, because Jones is now into his 9th season at Man United. He's obviously now been here 8 years. Rojo, I think, he will be staying at the football club at least for another year, Rojo, because I think Solskjaer recently revealed the reasons why he's preventing Rojo from leaving in January. It was a surprise that Rojo didn't leave during the summer, because he was subjected to some transfer speculation. Obviously, a few foreign clubs went in for him. Also, Everton, went in for him. But obviously, Everton didn't get him, because we put around the £25 million valuation on him. We put around a £25 million valuation on him. But I think, couldn't come to agreement on a fee. Basically, Everton were just reluctant to pay, what we was demanding. But Rojo has just got under 2 years left on his contract with Man United. I think he's now around 29 years of age. But his appearance is limited now at Man United anyway, Rojo's. Obviously, Solskjaer's first choice centre-backs are Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. And, they've complemented each other, fantastically well. But Rojo's versatility is good. He's predominantly centre-back, but can play as a full-back and a wing-back and that. And we have seen glimpses, of how good, the Argentinian can be. But Rojo now is injured anyway. Don't forget, he's the latest player, to be added onto that injury, list. But some Man United fans will say keep him, some will say get rid of him in January or next summer. Definitely, Nemanja Matic is one of the problematic players. He also, definitely needs to be moved on, because I've got so many reservations about Matic. And even though we haven't strengthened up yet in that midfield, I think any of our midfielders are better solutions than Nemanja Matic. Matic is too slow, makes that midfield look totally imbalanced. He isn't getting any younger as well. He's now 31 years of age. But he's no longer first choice, and that's comparison to last season, because actually last season he was first choice was Nemanja Matic, and we overpaid for him. We paid 35 million up front for him from Chelsea. There was 5 million in add-ons, which did potentially rise it to £40 million. So we definitely overpaid for the Serbian. Matic's contract comes to an end. Matic's contract comes to a current end at the end of the season, but we do have an option to extend it by a further year, but we won't extend his contract. I think we'll try and get rid of Matic in January. So obviously, we can't cash in for the player, but we've definitely got to get rid of him. Solskjaer recently laughed off rumours of, Matic possibly joining Tottenham and yet again reuniting with Jose Mourinho, because Jose Mourinho actually recommended Matic to Man United back in 2017 and that. But yeah, he definitely needs to be moved on. So there's still definitely more players that do need to leave Man United, definitely. And like I said, we are making plans for January. Obviously, there's a lot of players on our agenda, who we could go in for next year. Don't forget, recently, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's drawn an 8-man list, an 8-man transfer list of long-term targets. Don't forget. So he's making plans for next year. He's making plans for next year, and obviously, there's still deficiencies in the squad that definitely need to be addressed in that. Next year we've got to get 2 midfielders in. I think we need an attacking midfielder. We also need a defensive midfielder. We've also got to get I think we probably need 2 attackers in. I think Solskjaer's orchestrating on bringing 2 attackers in. But we definitely need to recruit a replacement for Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez. Because you can say for the vast majority of the season we've looked very exposed in that attacking line following their departures and that. But yeah, we need at least 1 striker. You can also say that we do need a right winner. And maybe there's certain other areas in the squad as well that do need to be addressed. So I think for us to get the right number of players that we want next year, and the right calibre players to Man United, I think we need to spend another substantial amount. I was reading recent reports, allegedly it said Solskjaer's only going to be given around 200 million to spend in January and next summer. These question marks around that. Is £200 million enough to address all the deficiencies in the squad? Is it enough to get the right number of players in? But I think, from my own perception, for 200 million, you could get maybe 3 or 4 players in, dependent on how we are with our recruitment. Are we going to overpay for players, or are we going to be sensible with our recruitment? It is basically all dependent on that. But our recruitment is definitely something that we have got to currently improve on. Our recruitment is definitely something we have got to improve on as well. But obviously, all the players that are linked we've moved to Man United, because I've already, given you an update on them, and of course on my recent videos. Like I said, Solskjaer has got a 3-year contract with the football club. Obviously, he'd been given this 3-year contract when he got the job in March earlier on this year. I can assure that Solskjaer, will be here at the end of the season and that. But I'm very, very sceptical about him, seeing out his 3-year contract on Man United, unless, this good run of form, can continue to persist. I think his managerial tenure, will last if he can, get the right players to Man United next year, and also this good run of form does continue to persist. But prior to that, I don't think his managerial tenure will currently last. But Solskjaer's only been at the football club now 11 months. He's only been here just under a year. He's been obviously permanent manager for around 8 months and that. And obviously we do know for the vast majority of that 8 months, it has basically all gone wrong. But also, obviously, it was totally comparison to what I saw when he was the interim manager in that 3-month period. Because in that 3-month period, he did well. He got the best out of these players. The performances were good. He exceeded expectations and that. And I thought in that 3-month period, he was the right man to elevate Man United for. But obviously, my perceptions have changed over the course of this 8 months period or so. But yeah, just to see what happens, basically, and that. And obviously, as I give you the updates regarding Romelu Lukaku, not too long ago, he said he was convinced that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted him to stay at Man United, and Lukaku did tell Solskjaer back in March, obviously when he was here, that he wanted to leave the football club anywhere. And some Man United fans, will say it was a mistake from us, letting Romelu Lukaku go. Obviously. But he had to go because obviously initially lost his place in the team, did Lukaku. Lukaku did enjoy 2 years at Man United. He scored 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions. He had an exceptional first season, but didn't really replicate that in his second season. But there again, I was happy with the money we generated from his departure. It was a surprise that we got 74 million for him, whatever it was. It was something in that region, 74 million. So more or less we recouped the money that we paid for him from Everton, because we paid 75 million pounds from Everton. There was 15 million add-ons, which did rise it to 90 million pounds. But I think since he went to Inter Milan in the summer, he's done really, really well for Inter Milan. Obviously, he's reuniting with Sanchez, because Sanchez is also with him at Inter Milan. I haven't watched too much of Sanchez in Inter Milan, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. So that's mainly everything to update you with today, guys. So I just wanted to do this long video, regarding I wanted to talk to you a bit about Arsenal and what and all that, and I think they do need to get rid of Unrai Emery now, and a lot of Arsenal fans will agree with me on that. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care, God bless, and I will be back with more videos tomorrow. Thanks for watching.